Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome to the Mana Clash. We're here, I'm Ian, I'm here with Alec.
Hello.
And we're here for a whole day of Australian 7-point Highlander. You excited, Alec?
I'm very excited. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good day. We've got 160 players here in the room, so we've got 8 rounds, and then we'll cut to a top 8 later today. Currently, we've got all our players out the back. They're getting ready. They're sitting down. Excited to start the day. What are you looking forward to, Alec?
I'm looking forward to seeing this relatively new 7-point Highlander format with now interstate players. We've got 160 people. They're not just from Victoria. And it'll be really interesting to see what the best teams have come up with recent points changes and the new standard legal set.
Absolutely.
Coming out.
Takia Dragonstorm
That's
making
the
an
one.
impact.
Thank you.
A couple really high impact cards from there.
Yeah.
And as you said, new points changes. So lots to look forward to today as we head down to the round.
Here we go. We've got Matthew Giudes and Jake Sims. And they are patiently waiting for us.
They are up in our lovely feature match area here. They're going to get ready, draw their opening 7s, and we are underway for Mana Clash 2025.
Here we go. And Matthew Giudes, I don't know if many people on coverage will know, he is a Pro Tour competitor. He's
Absolutely.
been on the PT a few times. Jake Sims, no slouch in skill level in his own right. I believe he, a part of a team event, won. A bunch of, I believe, Canberra people came down and stole some power from us. So, as a Melburnian, I know who I'm rooting for. Matthew, come on. Actually, I don't know.
To clarify, Matthew Giudes, also not from Melbourne, but Alec holds grudges, apparently. So that is Matthew Giudes on the right-hand side there. He's playing Grixis midrange, and on the left, we've got Jake Sims.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, we've swapped them around. So on the left there, Matthew Giudes, he's playing Grixis midrange, and on the right, Jake Sims playing Shops.
Yeah, both of these players have beaten the snot out of me in Highlander events in the past.
Absolutely. That's why we're up in the booth.
Yeah,
and
we're in the
not
booth.
down in the play area.
Have you done much losing to these players?
Absolutely. Many times. Matthew Giudes absolutely crushing me in testing repeatedly, especially. So we know how good these players both are. Jake here taking, looks like a second mulligan, I believe, Shops, looking for a fast start. They always want that fast mana. They have to come out early and apply pressure to the Grixis midrange deck.
Yeah, Grixis midrange tends to be on the back foot in this matchup. Shops, well, you know, Matthew would be happy to see a bit of a mulligan, but he only needs, or Jake Sims only needs like 1 or 2 key pieces to resolve, and then the game's very much in his favor.
Absolutely. Whereas for Matthew, he wants to draw this game out. He's got sticky threats that will accrue value over time, and he just needs to make sure he gets that time, really.
Yeah.
It'll be hopefully, this is the opportunity for Jake to try and pull back ahead. Looks like he has drawn a land and Urza's power plant, so he'll have 5 mana, could deploy that Golos. Options available to him, but this is the spot where he has to make it. He has to take this chance to try and pull back into this game, because Matthew, you always, love to see your opponent stumble, pull ahead, get the opportunity to deploy your threats as the Grixis deck and be on the front foot. And that's exactly where Matthew is right now.
I believe that Barrogoyf counter is wrong.
So definitely they will be practiced in these matchups.
100%. Yeah, a lot of the cards will change, but the overall strategy stays very much the same.
Absolutely. And we'll see them go again. So we'll see Jake on the play this game, hoping to have a fast start to pressure Matthew and hopefully sort of steamroll over with his fast mana, his disruptive cards, and some of those very powerful Eldrazi and artifact creatures.
Yeah, even though it gets slightly better for Matthew post-board, these Eldrazi cards are still haymakers. And
absolutely.
It can snowball very quickly out of control.
And you touched on it earlier, but oftentimes it is just one threat. These threats are so powerful that one threat slipping through, getting under counter magic, avoiding removal, can really just snowball the game by itself. Much as we saw the Murktide Regent from Matthew do that last game. It came down, no answer for it, and it ended the game in short order.
Yeah.
We hope you're enjoying your time here at the Mana Clash. Fantastic event here in Melbourne. Fantastic to have so many players in the room. 160 players, 8 rounds. We're going to be here all day. Alec and I, we've got you for the first 2 rounds. Then we'll have a rotating cast of some other fantastic people to guide you through the rest of the day. And don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow as well with a Team Trios event. Looking forward to that as well. So some great events all weekend.
Yeah. Come on down to Mana Clash.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic
A lot of good people there.
Meanwhile, so our players down in the area, they're shuffling up. Looks like they have worked out their sideboarding. Jake just double-checking there. Always good to double-check you got 15 cards in your sideboard.
Yeah.
Made sure you...
Something I need to do.
Absolutely. I have definitely taken my cards out, gone, these are the ones going in, these are the ones coming out, and then put them back in exactly where they came from, and not realise until partway through game 2.
And also between companions, Khan boards, very important. Have a quick little double check.
Absolutely. Cards can move around from all sorts of different zones, and you want to make sure they go back where they belong.
Object permanence is not our strong suit.
We are children.
We still need to learn the rules of peekaboo. I keep getting freaked out the first time I play it, though. It's quite a shock.
Oh. And that's the sort of fantastic humour and commentary you can look forward to all day, at least while we're here. Potentially, you might find some higher brow stuff with the other commentators, but with us, this is it. So buckle in. Players shuffling up here. So Jake on the play, hoping to see him keep a 7. As he goes down to 5, we saw there, difficult to have enough things because he needs the mana, he needs the threats, and the lower you go, harder to have enough of both.
Yeah, it was like he was just missing a piece to explode and do something really powerful, and that'll happen when you mulligan. Meanwhile, Matthew is looking to keep 7, a handful of cantrips, and maybe an answer or a threat or 2, and then smooth out his draws with Ponder Preordain and what have you to slowly but steadily win by stopping you resolving mine.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be looking for early interaction. Those discard spells we talked about, we saw one on turn 1, but also some of those sideboard haymakers. We'd expect to see things like Shattering Spree, that kind of thing, artifact destruction that can really catch him up if he falls behind.
But he is on the draw.
Looks like there's a Mishra's Workshop there in Jake's hand, so that's the card he wants to see. That's the signature card. That's why it's named Shops. That's a good hand for him.
So Jake seems with a snap keep then, as you said, after that, seeing that Shops, and Matthew shuffling up, wanting to get throws away and have a look at a new 6.
Absolutely. Didn't see what he liked, and the thing is, from the Grixis side, if you lose this game to Shops, you're going to die with cards in hand. Yes. So you might as well mulligan. It's free. From Jake's side, we also see there an unlicensed hearse, so something to keep the graveyard in check, try and stop something like that Murktide Regent, Baragov, shrink them down, and then also just become a large creature, a large vehicle that can rumble into the zone. Looks like a mana vault as well, so could be a very fast start here from Jake. 5 mana potentially on turn 1. We could see something like a Golos come down immediately.
Oh, a very interesting bottoming the Ragavan there from Matthew Giudes. Sorry, I'm just having a look at his mulligan decision.
There we see the Workshop into Mana Vault, into Unlicensed Hearse, all on turn 1, keeping that Mana Vault for next turn, so we'll have a lot of mana. Mental Misstep there drawn on turn 1.
Just a little too late.
Just too late. And that's a card that doesn't have a huge number of targets either against Shops. So extra painful to draw that one right after the Mana Vault hits the table.
Also, the very awkward bottom the Ragavan, keep Tassica in hand, and your opponent goes turn 1 Unlicensed Hearse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Them's the beats.
And that's how it happens sometimes in this game, you know? It's a card game, sometimes you just draw them in the wrong order.
Yeah. I suspect he may have bottomed it for mana reason. He's only got 1 land to play with, and it's hard to cast cantrips, Ragavan, and Tassica.
It is. Absolutely.
Well.
And interestingly there, it looks like no play on turn 2 from Jake. Has a huge amount of mana, but perhaps doesn't have anything to do with it yet. What do we think that could hint at?
Urza's Saga, Urza's Cave, sorry, can't be activated with the Shops. So yeah, actually just a straight up pass.
So he does have that Urza's Cave there. Could be activated if he wanted to spend the Mana Vault, but always a bit risky.
Does hit the land and also has a Ragavan now in hand. So
magically come back up to the top there. You bottom him, he comes back.
Yeah.
Cheeky little rascal.
But awkwardly, no red source to cast it. And then we're going to see the hearse just gobble up a couple of... Is it a hearse eating something or transporting the... How does this work?
Well, I always think it's protecting the graveyard, right? It's keeping it safe so that you can't reanimate anything from it.
Yeah, but is that what a hearse does? Protect the...
And here we're going to see a Traxos come down. So this
this
is
this card's sick.
This is a really sweet card. a huge creature, and plenty of ways to untap it. Plenty of historic spells in this deck. So a 7/7. Matthew having a quick read.
But I believe Matthew is going to slam a Haymaker here. And this was the reason for his keep. I believe he has an Energy Flux in hand. He's finding a... Oh, yep, got a black-red source. Casting an Energy Flux, if my read is correct. And that's huge.
That's the sort of Haymaker we talked about out of the sideboard. These are the cards that can really catch Matthew up, even after a less than speedy start, I would say.
Here we go. Boom.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
And notably as well, the Mishra's Workshop taps for 3 mana, but only to cast artifact spells. So he cannot use it to keep his artifacts around in the face of this Energy Flux.
So, very curious. Oh, yeah, that one stays tapped. Got a lot of upkeep, negative side effects on that bad boy.
And now Jake has a choice to make. Every artifact, got to pay 2, got 3 of them out there, has to decide which ones he wants to keep around. Looks like we're tapping 4 mana.
So we can keep 2 of them.
Yep, so we're going to keep the Hearse, keep the Traxos, let go of the Mana Vault. Once we've tapped that for mana, not as useful anyway. And now we've got a decision point. A couple of lands there, looks like a Blast Zone, an Abstergo, and a Karn in hand.
Yeah.
So
Blast Zone is an answer.
a few different options here. Yeah, the Blast Zone, eventually an answer for that Energy Flux, but an expensive way to do it.
A very slow way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see Jake here in the tank has, I think, no spells cast. So it looks like he will be... Not sure. We'll see what he tries to do with his mana. Got to remember that Mishra's Workshop, not useful with either of the lands in play. Can't tap for mana for those. And now we get to see Matthew swing back.
Oh, that's my favorite art of duress. This is glorious. And it's going to take a Karn, which could... It could, in a roundabout way, answer the Energy Flux, but now it is just going to take... no more. The Karn is down. So that's off the table for Jake. And we're going to see Matthew have a little ponder. It looks like he's going to dash the Ragavan. Little wee monkey is going to get in there.
So no blockers there at the moment. The case is clear for Ragavan to come across, get a treasure. The cards in Jake's deck, not super synergistic with Matthew, so possibly not going to cast them, but the mana ramp is good as well. Yeah. We see there in Urza's Tower
getting a treasure token, which also has the ability at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this artifact on this if you pay 2.
That is true. A little bit anti-synergy there with his own Energy Flux, but I don't think Matthew will mind. I'm sure he'll find a way to spend that treasure first.
But game rule violations are on the cards.
The Hearse there is going to continue to grow. Keep this graveyard shrunk down. That Tastiga stranded really in Matthew's hand. But for Jake, this Energy Flux really pinching him. Nothing to do with his mana on that turn. Pass back. Only 2 mana. Only 3 mana available. So one of these artifacts is going away this turn, we know. This Energy Flux really, really pulling its weight.
Absolutely.
And we did see off the Duress taking the Karn and just leaving 2 lands, Abstergo and Eldrazi Temple. So he's also has to hope to draw something as well. A really tough pinch Matthew has put him in. This is what the Haymakers from Grixis are for, to pull back from what was a pretty good start from Jake. Looks like he's going to respond to the trigger, eat the last card with Unlicensed Hearse, and I suspect we might be seeing that one go away. So but we will keep the Traxos in play.
Valuing the threat and or the blocker. So, and that all happens before Jake draws a card. He's going to play an Eldrazi Temple. Got one of those interesting Eldrazi commander cards in hand. And as Matthew draws for his turn, and he's drawn a Deadpool trading card, no mana to cast it, and no, well, there's not exactly the spiciest creature to trade cards with. Probably, okay, just a hard cast of, and he did remember to sacrifice his artifact, his treasure token, so great job.
Yeah, absolutely. Tight play there from Matthew, as you would expect. Looks like Jake has found a glaring Flesh Raker there, so that a card that doesn't have to pay for the Energy Flux, but it also won't untap Traxos.
Yeah, but Matthew does have a counterspell in hand, so...
And now, having deployed the Ragavan permanently this time, decided that it's time to get a clock in play.
Oh, we
More
got a
permanent
reader.
clock. We're going to read that Abstergo there.
As if you don't know what that guy does.
And we will take a read of it as well. Bring that one back up for all the viewers at home.
God,
So there's a legendary land here. We can exile the graveyard, and we can get a historic card back from the graveyard. So a way to buy back that card potentially.
yes.
Or the mana, or the unlicensed. There's lots of options there, but pretty expensive. A lot of mana to activate that. And at the moment, not enough mana on this turn cycle. Ragavan will come across, get a land, get a treasure. Matthew's going to immediately use the treasure to fire off. Looks like an Inquisition of Kozilek here.
Yeah, that's an Art of Inquisition I'm not very familiar with. The first time I'm seeing it.
Yeah, always nice to see different arts, different printings.
Yeah, you're right. It was nice.
So we're going to take that Glaring Flash Raker, Justin Urza's Tower, I believe, or Urza's Mine, I believe that was, in the hand. Jake will level up that Blast Zone, get a counter on it. So we're ticking up towards 3 when we can finally get rid of this energy flux. But as you say, Matthew there with a hand chock full of goodies. He's got pressure in play. He's got Ragavan. He can continue to come across with that. Get some triggers, get some cards, and Jake can do nothing but pass back. He has got the mana up now. We might see that Blast Zone level up to level 3 to potentially take care of the NG Flux. You called it several turns ago. That is a way to remove it. It's a slow way.
That is a very slow way, but...
But with little pressure from Matthew's side, just the Ragavan, he has had the time, Jake, to tick that up and eventually get rid of the NG Flux.
And we're seeing a Molten Collapse that with Revolt triggered, but no second thing to target. Matthew is still holding up Counterspell. Now, one interesting thing about this particular deck, Jake Sims' Shops deck, which is not a traditional Shops deck, it's an Eldrazi Shops deck. So it's going to have some cards that are not complete bricks to Energy Flux. And it is also going to have cards, big Eldrazi spells often have cast triggers, which will get around the counterspell in Matthew's hand. So there is actually a little bit to play for here from Jake's side of things, although a Seed of the Synod is not the best land. With all that being said, so Jake does have some live draws, and right now he's starting to build up a few lands.
He is, so he's building up his mana, getting to the point where we can just start hardcasting anything he draws.
Could have maybe hardcast that, but not anymore.
Cityscape level there, yeah, would have been a really nice one to draw. Instead, I think we'll probably see this Blast Zone used at the end of the turn to get rid of the Energy Flux, and then Jake can start to play the game again for real. Gitaxian Probe here, taking a look at Jake's hand, will draw Jake with a Mental Misstep and a land. So no threats yet, but we have got that Fomori Revolt down there. We've got the Abstergo, so we've got ways to get back some threats once this Energy Flux is out of the way.
So...
Another pass back there from Matthew. Ragavan in play, holding up interaction, doesn't want to tap out of that counterspell, and rightly so.
So we are now, so now the Energy Flux is dealt with. Matthew can now proceed without being hemorrhaged by that nasty little artifact, enchantment I should say, sorry. So now more live top decks, and he's going to have to start top decking some good ones. And that is an interesting one, but also, so that's a Shadow Spear he has drawn for turn. Interesting that on board, his lands are quite interesting. We've got that Asbestos call center or whatever that thing's called.
Abstergo there, so that can exile the graveyards, and we saw the Tasca in Matthew's hand, getting very close to casting that one. So
that can get back a threat, and then we've also got Urza's Man Cave on board. So he is flooding out a little bit. He has very few cards in hand, but he does have some options.
Yeah, as we touched on, get to play a lot of interesting utility lands in these decks. So even drawing a lot of lands, not necessarily a death knell. The Smirktide region, on the other hand,
yeah,
that's going to end the game pretty quickly.
That's going to prompt some action from Jake. Curious to know what's... So he's going to sacrifice the Urza's Cave. It's just Urza's Cave. I was joking before when I said Urza's Man Cave. Although that would be a fun...
I'm sure we'll get that. Yeah, we'll get that in a secret lair sometime, I'm sure.
Yeah. Just Khan chilling in his man cave. What do you reckon he's got in his pool room?
Where's Khan in Urza's Man Cave?
I'm a fool.
I mean, they're well, I don't think they are friends, actually.
Yeah, they're probably not. Urza's not friends with anyone.
But we're going to see the cave sacrifice here to go find Urza's Saga, the very powerful pointed card, enchantment, land, saga, all the types.
Oh, so many types. And that could sometimes just... pardon me. So Matthew has been holding up Counterspell this whole time.
Can't counter an Urza's Saga.
Urza's Saga, very good against Counterspell.
On the other hand, Urza's Saga, not so good against Murktide Regent.
Yeah, flying 6/6s, big problem for constructs.
Absolutely. And we've seen that Jake already drew the Shadow Spear, so can't even go search that up with the Urza's Saga to try and race back. That's stuck in his hand. Gonna have to try and run that through a counterspell.
Yeah. Although he has protection from Mental Misstep, but not that actual hard counterspell. And Matthew Giudes does have Mental Misstep. Yeah, both Mental Misstep and counterspell. So, you know, no dice is looking like. But we could see a main phase activation just to cast and equip the Shadow Spear, which of course would run into a counterspell, but Jake doesn't know that. We are getting a Grim Monolith in play. I wonder if... I think, yeah, Matthew's just going to let that resolve.
Absolutely. So much mana already on Jake's side. A little bit more mana. How could that hurt?
It does make the constructs a bit bigger, though. Just a wee little bit bigger.
It does. Helps power up that Fomori Vault as well. So artifacts in play, always a good thing for Jake. Until there's an Energy Flux on the other side, then it gets a bit awkward. But
we don't need to worry about that. That's
gone now.
Exile in the...
Singleton format. Don't have to think about that one anymore. It's gone.
Removed from the game zone.
We see that the Shadow Spear will actually resolve.
It will, but no equip as well. It doesn't. Oh, it does have the mana to do so, but Jake valuing the surprise fact, well, the flash aspect of the construct being a blocker. We're going to see an activation of the Urza Saga, making a construct which will be huge.
1, 2, 3, 4 looks like.
Cuatro. And we're seeing...
I heard pay for life there, so I suspect a Dismember incoming. There it is.
Which construct? That construct. Member. Can't Mental Misstep that one.
No, only paid 1 mana for it, but not a 1 mana spell.
And we're seeing... something's being activated.
So we're going to see Fomori Vault activated. This is a really powerful land here. We're going to get that activated with the construct still in play to get an extra look at a card that we'd like to see here. So it'll be the Mental Misstep going away. That one not so useful for Jake anymore.
Absolutely, get rid of that one.
Taking a look at 4 cards from the top. He'll get to keep one of those.
It's not revealed?
It is not. Take any card you like. Keep it secret.
Keep it safe.
But if we look at Matthew's hand, really stacked with the direction.
Stacked.
Counterspell, Mental Misstep, a couple other ones. Tassica's still hanging out there. Poor Tassica. Poor Tassica was stymied by the unlicensed Hearse early on in this game, and then just as his time almost came, Murktide Regent off the top decided that one was a bit better.
Just got big dogged by a Murktide Regent.
Absolutely.
It happens, bro.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Sundering Titan, one of the options there. That's a pretty good one. That would delete all of Matthew's lands if it resolved.
Yes. Yes, it would.
So I think we might take that one, actually. Couple lands, Inventor's Fair, Ancient Tomb, and a third card there, but it's all going to the bottom.
Yeah, it's not a scry, it's one on top, the rest on the bottom, so you don't get to stack the deck like a scry would, which is interesting.
We exile Kappa Cannon near there with Ragavan. That one, I'm sure Jake wishes he could draw.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake just wants to draw threats right now. He's got 1 turn to activate the Urza Saga, but would love to have bangers off the top.
So he'll draw for turn, draw a Tree of Tails there. So another land, not quite what he's looking for, but does get 1 more activation of this Urza's Saga if he would like it. Then that'll leave him with 6 mana afterwards. Not quite enough for that Sundering Titan. So might need to go find a mana source with the Urza's Saga potentially, or he's got that Tree of Tails as well to help him.
Having a big old think about this, weighing up a 1, 2, 3, 4... 4/4 currently would be a 5/5 with the artifact in play and 6/6 with the extra artifact land in play. So I've forgotten how to count. What was that? 7/7, 6/6.
Large.
When it goes over one hand, I count with my hands. Chat. So once it goes over one hand, I get it all confused. But it could be like one big creature with the Urza Saga or a bigger creature in the Sundering Titan. I believe he's going for the bigger creature.
Yes, so Jake on 2 life. Looks like he has decided, you know what, I don't have the mana to spend to make a construct. I'm just going to float a mana, go find a good artifact to put in play. And I think we might lean into this Sundering Titan. His back is up against the wall. Matthew Giudes has. We saw the hammer blow with the energy flux that really stymied Jake's early turns. And now he's closing out the game once again with this Murktide Merchant. With the help of a Ragavan, of course.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It doesn't have a lot. He's already drawn his card for turn, Jake has. And he's now got all the mana available to him in the world. So very curious to know what his outs are.
So it looks like he's gone for that Mox Opal. We know we've got Tree of Tails in hand. So this is going to be... This is a Hail Mary. We're going to play Sundering Titan and hope, I guess. Oh, Abstergo activation. So we exile the graveyards, get a card back. Card the choice. So plenty of mana.
Will grow the Smirktide region. He's smirking because he knows he's got a counterspell.
So 4 mana for card. Counterspell.
And that'll do it. And a shake of the hand. That'll do it. Matthew off, up and running. 1-0. Perfect way to start your event. But
absolutely.
Jake, very much in it. He's playing a really great deck. So don't be surprised if we see a bit more from Jake later on in the day.
Absolutely. Well and truly still in it. Not the way you wanted to start the day, but plenty of opportunities to head towards the top. Welcome back to the booth. I'm here. I'm Ian. Alex here with you.
Hello, hello.
We're going to be here with you this morning. We just finished round 1. 160 players in the room. 8 rounds today. It's going to be a big day.
That's a lot of rounds. That's a lot of players. A lot of people playing with some powerful pieces of cardboard.
It is. Plenty of powerful cards. We've got round 2 coming up in a bit, but for now, you just got us. You're going to hang out here with us. Yeah. We know it is a new format. A few weeks ago, we had our points change update, a wonderful committee tweaking things a little bit, keeping the format nice and balanced. So we saw a few different cards go up, a few different cards go down. Have you got a favourite points change you're excited to play with?
I'm a big fan of Ragavan going down. No, I'm just kidding. Dig Through Time, baby. Dig Through Time is just 1 point. And it's about time we started cutting stock up from our deck and start playing the real thing, which is Dig Through Time. I won't stand for this Dig Through Time erasure. That card's really powerful.
Why pay 3 mana for the effect when you can pay 2 mana?
And look at 2 extra cards, baby.
Absolutely.
Instant speed.
How do you feel about playing both, though? Stock up and Dig Through Time. Get that extra looking.
That's really cool, actually. I don't think we should get rid of our stock ups. If you can find a stock up, if a stock up's in stock, stores need to stock up on stock up. When they stock up on stock up, you get the stock ups, and then you cast the stock ups, and then, yeah, I want to cast both. The reason why I'm anti-stock up at the moment is because I haven't been able to buy one. That's my perspective on the points change. What about you? What cards you're excited about?
Because if you're looking for a stock up or a Dig Through Time, Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar, our wonderful sponsors for Mana Clash this weekend.
I'm actually going to check if they have them.
Yeah, absolutely. Not yet, though. I need you here for the next round. You got to stay here. After that, you can go have a look around.
What if someone buys them out, stock up, stock down?
Ooh. I mean, that's rough for you. That's difficult. I don't know what to tell you. But you're stuck here, up in the booth with me for now. Alec, if you were down there, if you were playing today, what would you be playing, do you think? A lot of good decks out there. A lot of good options. We saw Shops. We saw Grixis.
Actually, there's a good chance I would play a deck with pretty much the exact same cards as before the update, and then accidentally not realizing I would have 8 points. There's a good chance I would have done that. I actually have a deck in my backpack in case if someone was missing points and missing a deck, and it would be Esper Ketramos. But I would be very interested in trying out a bug control. So instead of Grixis, playing Sultai with I forgot his name, the really handsome 3-mana.
Leovold, the elf, the annoying elf.
Leovold's a good one.
Oko, the handsome one. Yeah.
Oko, okay. Handsome boy.
He's a handsome boy.
And he's also down to 1 point.
It's true, went down a point. So now you can get him and Dig Through Time for the cost of what just one of them was before.
Yeah.
So it's a good deal. Good deal.
Yeah, Fire Sale. Every blue soup card must go. And you could play 7 really good 1-pointed blue cards.
Because as we know, blue players don't get enough love in these Eternal formats.
You know what? We don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Really more counterspells. Get more counterspells.
Yes,
we saw a counterspell there. It was a very good counterspell.
Yeah, a very shiny, lovely counterspell.
Really nice. countering Khan. Khan, obviously the bad guy, so I guess we're on Team Counterspell.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're on Team Counterspell.
Yeah, I'm on Team Counterspell. What are you Team Khan or Team Counterspell?
I'm Team Luris, normally.
Team Luris. So you would be... what cards would you be excited for? Like Ragavan in your Luris deck?
Well, Ragavan back down to 1, but also Corey Steelcutter, a new card from Tarkia Dragonstorm. Make a lot of monks.
Gas.
That card's really nice. Happy to see that card get printed. Seeing play in all sorts of formats. We've seen Standard, we've seen Modern, we've seen... Well, Pioneer's not a real format anymore. We don't talk about that one.
We do talk about that. It's the format of Kings.
The format of King. Have you played any Pioneer?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I haven't played it.
Because we've got Australian 7-point Highlander to play. The much better format. The best format, really. It's constructed cube. That's the way I always pitch it.
That's the way you have always been pitching it that way, and I like it. I like that you. I think you stole that from me.
Probably. That would make sense. Yeah, something smart like that probably stolen from you. Yeah, absolutely.
But it is very similar. It feels like constructed, cube constructed, which is a great way to think about it. Imagine like the best cube deck you've ever drafted. You get to like replicate that.
Yeah, you get to really just decide, what's the favorite cube deck you've ever played? And you can play that every week. And in these fantastic big events like this as well.
Instead of torpedoing your cube draft online and spewing away play points, you could just force Storm in a constructed format.
We have seen that. We've got some notable Storm pilots. Yeah. Probably in the room today. We've certainly seen them tearing up the scene over the last few months.
On the small circuit, the local scene.
Absolutely. Powerful deck there, of course. And you don't have to watch all the mono red cards wheel because no one wants to draft mono red in Vintage Cube because we're here to have a fun time, not win. Whereas today, we're here to have a fun time and win, as Matthew just did there in round 1.
Yeah, column A, column B. It is interesting though, cube constructed, 7-point Highlander, is really a format, and Isaac, a fellow commentator who will be on later on today, had a nugget of wisdom, which was 7-point Highlander or cube constructed we're really pushing. We're trying to make fetch happen here, gang. 7-point Highlander is really a great format for you get to play your deck that you would be happy going 2-4.
Yes.
And just as happy going that as in 3-2. You'd also be ecstatic to win, obviously. But if you get a couple of wins in the day and have a great fun playing with your cards, that's really what the format's about.
Absolutely.
But then we have events like this where there are 8 rounds, 160 players. We've got a pretty stacked prize.
There's a fantastic prize wall over there. I saw some big prizes on the line. We will get into those later in the day. Don't you worry.
I think first place is the Time Walk of Many Walks.
Yes.
It's the Time Walk that's been handed around. It's been handed around a lot, so it's the Time of Many Walks. Time Walk of Many Walks. I don't know what the local colloquialism is, but it's a funny gag that really is easy to remember.
It's got a history, that Time Walk.
It's
been around.
That's a great
in a good way.
Yeah, it's a great way to pick up power, Highlander. is just win an event and then donate it to the next one and just keep the economy going.
Yeah, that's trickle-down economics, I think.
Yeah, which works.
Yeah, definitely.
And we are...
What's that? Don't talk about politics. Okay, sorry, all right.
They want to silence the truth.
That's it. We'll hopefully be back later today, so long as we don't get pulled off air. But for now, you're stuck with us. We've got one more round after this with us. Later on, whole range of different other great commentators. Be here all day. 8 rounds. It's a long day.
Yeah.
It's a long day to play Magic. I mean, it feels long for us. It's going to feel even longer for the players.
Yeah. So, this is very curious. So we're just going to be here for a while. This is...
Absolutely. You're stuck with us. This is our talk show, actually. We hosted a whole Magic event just to have a talk
podcast.
Show. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what we need. More podcasts with white guys.
Yeah, white guys with microphones, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys can jump off if you want.
We can jump.
All right.
Yep.
So, it's been a good first round.
Yes.
More Magic to come. 7 more rounds and then top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Big prizes at the end here at the Mana Clash.
Yeah.
That's why I'm one done, though. So we're going to go to a short break. And then we will be back with more Magic. Alec and I will be back to talk you through round 2. Stick around.
Au revoir.